we had a great round robin over in Australia at AWE, and Matt Conley was there in person. So if you could catch us up on this round robin, kind of tell us who was involved and who got the win. I know I was surprised, man. I got to watch this event, and beforehand, I was just thinking kind of like Ryan Bowen was going to be, the favorite, and I was pretty surprised. I think he went one win, two losses, and he was out. And there was somebody in there that I didn't really know much about, and it seemed like he was just the dominant force. And then I seen him on an after pull with Lachlan Adair. But I want to let you tell the story, Matt, because you know everybody and you were there in person. So kind of tell us the overall, what was the whole event about, and how was it in person?
Yeah, well, we were deciding what we wanted to do with AWE in terms of our next move, and we'd run a couple of tournaments around the country, sort of more for the amateur side of things, and we had our big pay-per-view events in the past. And then we came up with the idea of, well, why don't we try and get the best guys in this region in a double elimination tournament against each other, which is what we did. We got our eight best guys in the Oceanic region. The only ones we couldn't get were Mario Tambarkas because he's got a match lined up in, I think, 2 weeks' time against Jason Merlot, who's right here with us today. And we also couldn't get Lachlan Adair, obviously, because he's got contract restrictions. But the rest of the eight guys were, so we had seven from Australia and one from New Zealand, being Mataringi Hedda Morris. And at 165 kilos, we put him in as the number one seed, Ryan Bowen as the number two seed. And so Ryan was putting up his AWE heavyweight belt for the winner of the tournament. And the other guys in this tournament were multiple time national champions. Every one of these guys has a rich history in arm wrestling, decades of experience, and very powerful. Apart from one guy, the fifth seed, Riekerd Bornman from South Africa, 20 years old, 120 kilos, 6'3", has only been arm wrestling for just over 1 year and has been an absolute powerhouse. He turned up at the Kingpins Club just over a year ago. He came over from South Africa to Australia for rugby purposes. He's a professional rugby player. And he just decided to go along to an arm wrestling training. And that club, they've got Lachlan Adair, they got Ryan Bowen, they got Marcus Atiro. So very, very big, powerful heavyweights. And he was keeping up with them on his very first night at arm wrestling, which is absolutely insane. And throughout that year, he's improved his technique and he's gotten better with finding his foundational movement. He's just incredibly powerful and dominant. But where he was missing was the positioning, all the stuff that it takes years to learn. But being a fast learner, being a natural athlete, he's picked up on those skills very quickly. And we had him in at fifth seed. His first round was up against Gunter Bykovs, who is a multiple-time Australian champion, comes from Latvia and used to be a champion over there as well. Very similar builds, 120 kilos. Gunter's has 30 plus years of experience over Riekerd. And it didn't seem to matter though, because Riekerd just destroyed him. He just powered through him, which he continued to do for the rest of the tournament. And in no point did he look like he was in trouble. He didn't lose position at all. He never had to defend. He just rolled through every single competitor in that whole division, which was outrageous. He won the tournament without getting in adversity at all. Couldn't believe it. Gave a fantastic post-match speech. Very humble young man. He thanked his father and his family and had some tears, and it was a great moment. Then he jumped on the afterpool table for about an hour, and then Lachlan Adair arrived. He'd been working during the morning, so Riekerd and Lachlan got on the table together, and Riekerd was pinning Lachlan in the afterpools as well. And this is after winning a tournament and after an hour of afterpooling. He's got on with the number one in that region, and was pinning him. So it was like, who the hell is this guy? What is going on with this guy? So very exciting for Riekerd Bornman to see where he can go. We're figuring out what the next move for him is. But yeah, amazing weekend. And throughout the rest of the tournament, there was upsets galore. Guys were winning that we thought that they wouldn't ever have that chance. There was some back and forth battles. It was an amazing event.
Do we think that this guy is number one in Australia now? Is there going to be a possible? Because how do we even figure this out now that Lachlan is locked up in a contract? Are we ever going to know who the official number one in Australia is?
Yeah, that's what makes it difficult with having exclusive contracts is that you can't really just jump into a match together. But they do train together regularly. And from what Lachlan was saying, he says, look, I'm excited about this, that Rickard's got to this level where I can now be really challenged in training and potentially maybe in a super match in the future because I've got somebody that can really push me. And he said, naturally, I'm a 105 kilo guy, and he's dropped down to 105 kilos. He said, Riekerd is a natural heavyweight. So he said, so good. He said, I shouldn't be number one in this region because I'm 105 kilos and below, because there should be a heavyweight or, a super heavyweight that is dominant. Because for me to be 105 and be the number one, it doesn't make sense. It's just because we're still on the rise in terms of our skill level and our amount of pullers that are here in this region. So it is increasing. And yeah, I'd love to see a match between them. We'd have to see what happens in the future. But as terms of number one, I'd still put Lachlan ahead of it because I think he would also have beaten the other guys in that tournament. Uh, Him versus Riekerd, I don't know how it would go, and maybe there was different things that he could do that he wasn't doing in the afterpool.
I'm blown away that you're telling me that this guy is only a year in and looking the way he did. From his performance, I was just assuming he's an OG in the sport, and everybody knew of him over there, and I was just getting on the radar. But to hear 1 year in, and I'm just baffled, man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where he goes next. And I hope you guys get him some big matches. Is there anybody that you guys got in mind anywhere else? Maybe one of the guys in North America that you'd like to see him size up against?
We've already had a few phone calls from some big organizations that night, actually. So yeah, we're working on getting the next thing for him.
Nice. Well, you definitely keep us posted with that. And then we got a message from Josh Holden. He said Leonidas' biggest win was Larry. Okay, thank you for that, brother. And I see a lot of talk of people want to see Leonidas against Corey West. That could be an interesting one. And then the other one I seen that I also remember I was trying to get a while back was Leonidas versus RVJ. What is your guys' thoughts on that possible match, man? RVJ versus Leonidas. Jason Merlo talk to us.
I think RVJ will put a spanking on Leonidas, and I think RVJ will probably get upset for that type of match, to be honest.
And
Honestly,
why do you think
Paul,
he would get upset?
Well, look at his last match at Knuckles Up. It wasn't that he was upset against pulling Brandon Allen, but I think he has a little. I think there's just like possibly a little bit of underlying bitterness to like he's like, why don't you give me like a real arm wrestler type of thing, not saying taking anything away from Brandon Allen, but I just feel like he thinks he should be at a higher level, even though he hasn't been as active and he's finally starting to get more active and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know what RVJ would think about that. But I just
Ask you
think
this,
RVJ.
Jason, from that comment, who do you think's better and stronger arm wrestler? Who would get the win between Leonidas and Brandon Allen?
that's the match, man. That's what I was gonna
That's
say. Yeah,
that. Yeah. Now that's an interesting match.
yeah.
That
That's an
might be,
interesting
yeah, that
match.
might be one we want to see. Yeah, I think that could be a possible great match for Leonidas next. And they both got big followings in different areas. So we got Brandon's got a huge following with the power lifters, Leonidas
Oh,
kind of like the fitness guys and all. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. I think a lot of people though underestimate Leonidas's skills on the table. I think he's got a lot more experience than people think. I think he's been doing this. What I'm hearing, I think it's like 3, 4 years he's been dabbling in the sport. Is this right? Does that sound right, guys?
I
I
think
only
so.
started seeing him around the time that maybe a little after Larry, so I'm not sure if he was, in it before. Maybe like Brian Shaw, just in and out, messing with it, but not too serious until recently.
Yeah, because I think he was in talks with Devin for a while, and I think him and Devin were doing things together, and I think that was a little before Larry. And what I heard before then is I think he was in for like a year or two then, but don't quote me on that. I definitely want to find out more about that. But I think Leonidas is definitely he's going to be a really really good arm wrestler if he sticks with it for sure. I want to move on now. Let's make it on to the Knuckles Up 3 going down May 11th in Fort Lee, New Jersey. This one is going to be amazing. It's starting at 5 p.m. on Saturday, May 11th. We got an amazing card set up, and a couple of the competitors are actually on here right now, and that being Uncle John and Roger Learned. This one, I like this match. This one is going to be a good one. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. I want to start off with Israel. We know that you just pulled Uncle John recently over at Brandon Allen's. You guys had a little super match, right hand and all. So I know you kind of got a feel of where Uncle John is at. I know before that, you and Roger were going back and forth a little, and there was talks of potential match between you and Roger. So I want to get your perspective. Who do you think is going to be the favorite that day, May 11th?
I've never gotten a chance to pull Roger. I have like a couple teammates who have managed to pull him earlier in his career, so it's probably not even a great gauge. Uncle John, he's a strong guy. Roger, you better come in ready. I hope you win because it sets up the match perfectly for me and you, but you got to get through Uncle John first. So yeah, best of luck to you, man. Uncle John is not to be taken lightly.
Damn, Israel going against your arm wrestling Buzz crew member. Oh man. Okay, all right. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Well, I
Jason,
gotta make Uncle John a little excited. I mean, he's been on
You
such a
gotta
big win streak. What I mean, Uncle
look.
John.
You gotta look out for number one, right? Don't let someone else's loss get in the way of your future victory. That's what I always say.
Jason, what's your thoughts on this match? Who's gonna walk away victorious that day?
I'll tell you what I can't wait for. So, since I've been to Knuckles Up before, I can't wait for the breakfast, lunch, and dinners with these guys. I think we're going to hear a lot of banter back and forth, and um, I can't wait for that. Like all those games that are played, even though it is a super friendly environment, like all of that stuff that goes on before the match, I 100% believe it plays into how the outcome of the match will go on that day. So I'm looking forward to seeing, like I said, I can't wait to sit down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with these guys because I want to hear the back and forth that's going to go on. I know we're going to hear a lot of it, and there's going to be a lot that's going to add to that as well. So this is going to be a really good match. I think it's a really good one that got added to the card.
But we're gonna put you on the spot now. You got to bet on one of them. Who you bet on?
I got to bet on it's a right-handed match. I got to bet on Roger.
Oh, okay, okay. He's going with the local guy. Matt, want to get your thoughts on this one, man. How do you think this one turns out?
Yeah, well, like as Jason said, I mean, the fun part about this is seeing the back and forth between these two guys, and that is almost a story of itself, and it's almost a character of itself. Just seeing you guys get up on the table, face off against each other, talking trash. It's like that's exciting. I don't really care who wins at that point. I just want to see who's funnier or who says that has the best moment. Hopefully, no one gets hit with a beer can. Um, yeah, John, he's incredibly strong. Yeah, there's the scar right there. Yeah, absolutely, man. If anyone says that cut was fake, they're ridiculous. But yeah, left hand, John, you're incredible. Right, I think is trailing behind. I think Roger has it only because of that, but I can't wait to see it.
Roger, after seeing Uncle John over at Arm Guides, are you getting a little nervous for this press conference?
Not at all. I mean, I've seen Uncle John, in and out, but I'm not nervous by no means.
So let me ask you, Roger, what is training and prep for this match look like for you?
I'm doing one-on-one with Storm Chelino, so I'm getting the best training I can ever get. I'm the strongest I've ever been. I'm on my way down to 220, so I kind of hit a curb on my going down, so I'm staying at 230 now. So kind of just waiting it out and seeing how it goes. But I'm the strongest version I've ever been.
Is this your biggest match of all time?
I would say it's pretty far up there. I mean, I thought Evan was going to be my biggest match, but when he came in and yeah, the way it went, I would say Uncle John is definitely the big guy now.
And what's it like being on this big stage of Knuckles Up? You excited?
It's an honor. I mean, it's more than I could ever say. It's given a small fish a chance to be great and for a moment.
Roger, have you been to any of the Knuckles Up yet?
I have not.
Oh, you're in for a treat, bro. You don't even know. Oh man, these guys do it right, man. This is like UFC level. This is crazy, man. The production they put into this is just amazing. And now we got a new venue for an official theater. It's, yeah, this is next level.